Testing. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Guys, let me know if you can hear me loud and clear. Um, and the reason why I'm asking that is because I do need to get a new um audio set. I need new everything. So I've been playing a little bit with the intro. Something different. I think it's too laid back, and I don't want it to be too laid back, even though, it's in the evening. So happy Tuesday, everybody. I usually don't do a live. However, I usually do an X space, but I'm not holding an X space because it's Judge Joe Brown X space, and he didn't, he wanted to chill. So it's like, okay, he's going to chill tonight. So I was like, you know what? We kind of been on vacation, and I'm kind of still on vacation because I'm going out of town this week. So I was like, I'm gonna do a live today. I'm gonna do a live tomorrow, and then I'm gonna have some uploads for you guys during the rest of the week. So I'm here, and we got to talk about Diddy, honey. Yes, Diddy's going to be talked about every single day while this trial is going on, even after, right? And it's breaking news. It's always something new, something juicy, the tea. Now, I was supposed to have Peter come on the show. I just sent his ass the link because he's been going to the courthouse, and he's been getting there early to go inside and be in the overflow room so he gets to see and hear everything that's going on during the trial inside the courtroom, in real time. And so, of course, I'm going to be pulling up inner city press because he's inside the courtroom, like sitting a couple rows behind Diddy, because only a selective journalists with certain type of credentials are allowed to go inside, to sit inside, like behind Diddy or the prosecutors. And he's been posting um word from word the cross-examination, the question of the witnesses and the judge. But I like to bring someone who is actually there to come on and kind of fill in the blanks and, give their point of view. Oh, okay, D2. Bye. Bye. So so yeah. So he's going to be coming up shortly. And so what happened today? Diddy's assistant, I guess you could say longtime assistant, Capricorn Clerk or Clark, Capricorn Clark, took the stand. And honey, this testimony of hers was juicy. She brought up Suge Knight. She brought up 50 Cent. Hence, this is why 50 Cent pictures in the thumbnail and the title. 50 Cent, of course, is trolling. And she kind of just confirmed that 50 and Diddy were enemies, right? They were feuding. So yeah, so we're gonna break all that down. Thank you, Computer Geek. Hi, Katalia, Amira, Melanin Vision TV, Hungoins. I know this is something new. You guys don't see me on a Tuesday here. I'm usually uploading a video, but you see my pretty face. Yes, I got my hair done today. I got some more braids. So anyway, please like the video. Please share this video. And if you have a question, please do so. Send it via super chat, question or comment, or if you want to support. And you can also send it to my Cash App. And actually, let me get this in the background here. What is this? Okay, yeah, get that strolling. And then let me change the background. Okay, here we go. All right. So before we get into the Diddy thing, honey, I do want to talk about a little bit of Obama drama because I found this fascinating. I don't want to go here. We can actually go here. Yeah. Yes, honey. Secret Service officers caught brawling on camera outside Obama's home. Whoop this girl ass. This is what one of the Secret Service agents said. I found this funny. And actually I guess I got to bring it in or out. I guess bring it out a little bit. Yeah. That's better. Ugh, I hate that. Give me a second. Yeah. You know what? I don't know why it does that. Give me a sec. All right. I don't know. How is it now? I don't it does that and I don't know why my audio is doing that. Let me see if it worked. Yeah. And you know what? I don't Yeah, I don't know. It does that. It does that. It does that. And I think it has something to do with the Wi-Fi. I don't know. Ooh, wait a minute. Let's see. Maybe it was that. I don't know. So what I did, I don't know. If it's still delay, I'm sorry, as long as you guys can hear me. And Peter, I see you. So just give me a second. Hi,
Hey Dana,
Peter.
how are you?
Good.
I love that hat.
So real quick, thank you. Yeah, honey, I've been on my Cowboy Carter for the past year. So this is like my signature thing. I'm buying another one now on Thursday before I go to the concert. Well, I brought you on and is this another thought? No, Mel, this is not a throwback. This is actual live. All right, so I brought you on to talk about the Diddy trial, but before we get into that, I wanted to bring up the Secret Service. I don't know if you heard, but Obama's Secret Service has suspended two uniformed officers who were reportedly caught on camera fighting each other outside the former President Barack Obama's home last week. During the brawl, one of the federal officers allegedly grabbed her radio and threatened to whip this girl ass. Video published Tuesday shows the female agents punching and shoving each other. And I do have well, I am going to play the audio, but I wanted to this is the actual fighting. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. It doesn't
Oh wait.
surprise me either what you're saying. I mean,
Okay.
this is the same Secret Service that was sleeping with Colombian prostitutes in Colombia years ago, so that, that doesn't surprise
Oh,
me.
that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so this is the video of the two officers fighting outside Obama's home. And this is the audio here. Let me make this actually bigger here. Yeah. Okay. So this is Susan Crabtree report. It says breaking scoop. Is DEI still plaguing the Secret Service? I'm tired of this DEI talk. So, two female Secret Service uniformed division officers got into a physical fight outside former President Obama's DC residence while guarding it. The fracas occurred roughly around 2:30 a.m. early Wednesday morning, according to two sources in the Secret Service community. The lack of professionalism was displayed during the fight, and in a call, one of the women made a recorded Secret Service line to request a supervisor to come to the scene immediately before I whooped this girl ass. The woman officer who made the call was upset that her shift replacement was late and assailed her verbally and physically when she finally did arrive to relieve her. Audio of the early AM call is now circulating among agents and officers and is attached to this X post. So this is the actual audio. Let me play this real quick. So, can I get a supervisor down to Delta 2 immediately before I whoop this girl ass? What was going on outside of Obama's house? Peter, any thoughts?
Um, it sounds like you know, it sounds like she's about to get some work. So I don't know. I yeah, I mean, You got to be careful. People have had it, and it's not the same type of routine anymore. People are going to do what they feel, right? So I'm excited to see this video. I'm just hearing about this now.
Oh, you just heard about it? Yeah, well, it was released today, so it was kinda like breaking news. It was earlier today. So, apparently, they were both, suspended. They were both suspended, and, of course, now the conversation goes to DEI hire, right? Because of course it sounds like a black woman saying, "Imma whoop this girl ass." Um, but, now they're trying to compare it to, when Trump was nearly assassinated and he had 2 female Secret Service agents that was there. So now they're trying to say this is what happens when you have quote unquote DEI hire. I don't think it has nothing to do with DEI. It's just that it's unprofessional. And apparently of Obama, they were inside their home. They didn't hear anything. The neighbors didn't hear anything. So I guess this little snafu, wasn't too loud, but it happened while they were on duty, supposed to be watching and protecting the former
Yeah,
president.
I mean,
So yeah.
it sounds like it was the B squad, right? Because presidents, even in ex-presidents, until they pass on, they are afforded Secret Service protection for life, right? Once they become president. So, you're not going to have the most, I don't know, qualified or astute or maybe professional Secret Service on an older president as opposed to who you're going to have on an active president. Or I would imagine it goes by threat assessment, right? How many threats the retired or ex-presidents are getting as opposed to, others. And they might delegate uh, different amounts or varying levels of security based upon that. So that could be part of the reason why there's the lack of professionalism.
Yeah. Well, no- either way, that's a hot ass mess.
I agree.
A hot mess. All right. So let's get into the main meat of the conversation tonight. All right. Let me get out of this. And I brought you on because you have been going down to the Diddy trials since it started,
Yep, I've
correct?
gone 6 of the last 10 days, and it's
Hmm.
been interesting.
And today, very interesting. So today, Diddy, former assistant Capricorn Clark, who worked for Diddy as his assistant from 2004 through 2012, took the stand. And I do want to go to Inner City Press and kind of like read what was said. But overall, let me just do a quick summation. Then I'm going to
Yeah,
let you
he's
give
great. I
us,
saw him today actually in the hallway, and he's always, yeah,
press.
Inner City Press is always there, and I mean he's been doing this for years. I followed a lot of major trials through him, because he has a hard
Mhm,
press pass, so he's allowed to live tweet from the courtroom. You have to understand that there's no recording in any federal courtrooms across the United States, and specifically in SDNY. They take all your electronic devices upon entering the building, and they even check sunglasses because people have snuck in recording the Ray-Ban recording sunglasses into the courtrooms, and multiple people I've
mhm.
talked to some staff there have been fired because staff that works there is allowed to have a cell phone, but they've been caught recording famous cases as well, and they get axed right away. So it's a very serious environment, and they don't play any games.
Mhm. So his former assistant, Capricorn Clark, took the stand. She told the court that Combs made the threat after learning she used to work for Suge Knight, who was the former CEO of Death Row Records. Combs and Knight have had a long rivalry. And 50 Cent name she brought up because apparently she confirmed that 50 Cent and Diddy had a beef as well. Now, it's something interesting that she said, but I'm gonna get to that a little bit later. But tell us, what you witnessed today in the
Yeah,
courtroom.
so I came in for cross. I missed the morning session, which was direct examination, but I did exactly what you've been doing, which is reading it on Inner City Press, and then I talked to some people that were there in the morning. They said it was very spicy. She talked
Mhm,
about being kidnapped by Diddy and one of his bodyguards or security team, a guy named Ruben. They call him Rube, and she basically Diddy went to the house. They wanted to know where Kid Cudi's house was so they can go there. She said that he brought a gun with him, and basically they accosted her, kidnapped her, made her go downstairs, drive, and show them where Cudi's house was. She stood outside in the car while Diddy went and with Rube and broke into the house. Diddy came back out multiple times and went back in multiple times. And while she was waiting in the car, she called Lauren London. Um, yep.
Yeah.
And then also, so this was funny because on direct examination, she says she calls Lauren London. On cross examination, she says Lauren London was potentially on the phone when she then three-wayed Cassie on Cassie's burner phone. So initially she said no, that Lauren London wasn't on the phone, but then under cross-examination from Magnifilo, she said that she can't remember, even though she just reviewed this with prosecutors 2 days ago. So, that was on cross, but I'll get to that. So she talks about being there. They leave the scene. And then she talks about getting fired from Diddy because of this, and because of like Diddy feeling like she betrayed her by supporting or knowing about Cassie sleeping with Kid Cudi while she is, dating Diddy. Um, good.
So, hold on a second, because I want to read through Inner City Press. Um, Here's a question, real quick question I want to ask you. Did you believe her, Capricorn
No,
Clark?
and I'll talk about why if you want. I can talk about it now or later, but the short answer for why we can get into this more is she seemed very self-serving, and she was literally crying
Hmm.
on cue, and the crying looked like something out of a B movie actress. Like, yeah, like
Really?
crying, breaking down, and then in the next second, like laughing and saying she's sorry to the judge when the judge is telling her like it's okay. And like when you're crying or hysterical about something like that's serious, you can't just switch it off and
Hmm.
on. And to me, she did not seem credible at all. But I'll leave that there.
All right. So here we go. It says jury entering, judge, welcome back. Call your next witness. The government calls Capricorn Clark. Where did you grow up? Born in San Francisco, moved to LA, worked for Def Jam, then Death Row Records, a late 90s gangster rap label. What was your relation to Suge Knight? He is the father of my friend's child. Then you work with for Sean Combs. Yes, he is over there in a blue sweater. I worked from him from 2004 to 2012. Were you kidnapped? Yes. When did you first meet Mr. Combs? When I moved to New York City in 2002, we were super platonic friends. A headhunter said I should work for him as a personal assistant. I did until 2006. Your duties: shadow him from Wake Up. Then what? Head of Women's Sean John. How long? A year. Then global brand director for Sean Combs. Name and likeness due diligence to grow the brand. Then I was terminated until 2016 for Cassandra Ventura. Did you work in this building? Photo of Bad Boy Records. Yes, we moved there in 2005. Your first day, where did Mr. Combs take you? Central Park, after dark, along with Uncle Paulie. He looked like a linebacker. Does this photo look like him? No, he doesn't have on the black out shades he wore all the time. Where did Mr. Combs tell you? What did Mr. Combs tell you in the park? That since I work for Suge Knight, if anything happened, he might have to kill me. Objection. Judge overruled. Proceed. How did you take it? Seriously, it had gravitas. Um, oh, how did you react? I said I didn't have anything to do with that stuff. Sustain, Miss Steiner. What was Paulie's role? All aspects of Mr. Combs' movements to keep him safe. There was also D Rock, Roger Bonds, and Ruben. Who's D Rock? A good friend of Biggie Smalls, running back type body. Did you ever observe Mr. Combs with a gun? Yes, in my home. And did he talk about it? Mr. Combs, told Chris Lightly he had a gun. He had a problem with 50 Cent, i.e., he'll go 50 Cent. Were you ever accused of stealing? Yes, jewelry. It had been given to me. It was a loan. It went missing. It went missing. Yes. What did you do? From Teterboro, I called 1440 and told them to lock it down. What did Uncle Paulie do? He questioned me 3 hours. You went home to Queens. Yes, with Uncle Paulie. He searched my house. Where did Uncle Paulie take you? 1710 Broadway. It was dilapidated. It was being fixed up, but I didn't know that. Uncle Paulie took me to the sixth floor. The door was locked behind us. There was a 6 foot folding table and a heavy set man. Can you describe him? Five of me, two linebackers. He was a chain smoker. Did Uncle Paulie stay? Intermediately, he came back. What did the heavy set man say? I was there to take a lie detector test. What did he said what happened if you failed the lie detector test? That they would throw me in the East River. Objection by Combs' attorney. Can we have a sidebar? So, Peter, so far,
Yeah, so this a lot of this information, right, was being objected to by the defense because they're saying that this is more prejudicial than probative, which is Rule 403, right? So Rule 403 says that if evidence it serves to misdirect or give misinformation or confuse the jury or prejudice the jury and not be probative. Probative meaning it's designed to elicit a response regarding state of mind of an individual to give the jury more information about how they can judge the credibility of the witness. It's okay,
mhm.
but if it's designed specifically to shock the conscience of the jury, that is considered a no-no. And you have Rule 403, and I think the other one is 412, that you're not allowed to do
Right.
that. And so this is what the defense is basically objecting to. And this was their theme throughout the day in regards to a lot of the things that prosecution was eliciting.
Okay, so it says, Miss Steiner, you may proceed. What was his demeanor? Very serious. I was terrified. Did you want to be taking the test? No, I was afraid. How was the test? Wires on you and they questioned you. Did I steal? Did he tell you the results? He said to calm down, that he couldn't get a good reading and he might have to throw me in the East River. Anyone else in the building? Not to my knowledge. Could you leave? No. Paul said no. What did Paul say at the end? That he'll come back the next day to figure this out. We started again another lie detector test in the same location all day. Were you free to leave? No. How long did this go on? 5 days. So let me pause right here because first of all, I'm not going to go with you. You drop me off home, you pick me up, take me back to this room so I could keep doing lie detector tests all day for 5 days. I'm calling the cops after day one because you threatened me talking about something, you're going to throw me in the East River. So this whole thing is just crazy. Why would you go back?
Exactly. So what
Anyway,
she would say to that is that she wanted to keep her job in the industry and this is her life's work. She wanted to do what she's a creative person and she wanted to be creative and she went along with it because, she wanted to stay in this industry and Diddy could have blackballed her, which she ultimately said he did. But yeah, continue with the reading. It's good after this.
AUSA, did you tell anyone where you were? No, I was just trying to survive it. I worked under an NDA. Objection. Sustained, jury should disregard the last answer. What would you have been doing? Shadowing Mr. Combs. What happened after 5 days? That I could return to work, that Mr. Combs would see me the next week. Did Mr. Combs ever discuss it with you? No. Why did you continue to work with Mr. Combs? If I left, they'd think I stole. What were your days like? From his townhouse at 74th Street and Park in the morning to Daddy's house studio at night. How much sleep did you get? On a good day, 4 hours. On a bad day, two. I got a stress condition. I was paid 55K. Did you get paid overtime? No, I spoke to the head of HR. She said I was owed $80,000. How did Mr. Combs respond? He ripped up the paper. Will Mr. Combs stay at hotels? Yes. With whom? Kim Porter, once a week. What names would he book room under? Frank Black, Frank White, and the girlfriends, Jackie Starr. Where did he stay? Intercontinental Buckhead in Atlanta, Beverly Hills Hotel in LA. What were in his bags? A camera, small bottles of baby oil and lube, cameras every time. What what were you doing? No, what would you be doing? I guess he missed a couple words there. Watching TV, ordering room service, keeping up on sleep, catching up on sleep. Afterward, I'll sweep the room for anything left behind, any damage, baby oil. How frequently would Mr. Combs stay in a hotel with Cassandra Ventura in 2008? Like once a week at uh, her Hermitage, the London Intercontinental for several days, the IV drips. Did he speak to you about his relationship with Miss Ventura? Yes. Miss London was there, Chef Jordan in the other room. He called Cassie over, asked her to walk there, hand me that, go back in the other room. She did it. What did he say? You bitches won't do that. That's why you don't got a man. Shit is crazy. What did you say? You're motherfucking right. Did you observe Mr. Combs obtain drugs? A girlfriend in LA, in New York, a girlfriend in New York, in LA from one stop, Molly ecstasy delivered to Puff or to me. Did he ask you to get drugs for him? Yes, ecstasy. And in the south of France, he asked me to get cocaine. I said, for who? Why? I wasn't going to do it given how my mother died. Objection by the Combs attorney. Now they're saying sidebar. Okay, they're back. Who did Mr. Combs say the drugs were for? He said, not me. Did you get them? Yes, through the Spanish security guard. He also get prescription drugs in my name. They were in the toiletry bag I'll carry or security. Ciao. What about bulk cash? Yes, $100,000 euro, 100,000 euro coming back from Europe. Where he get it? Club bookings in Europe. Here, keep it, then give it to security, then into his bedroom personal safe. Violence, fighting. Was Mr. Combs violent with you? Yes, at Star Island. He told me you are not to leave this house. Pharrell Williams was boarded by a boat. I returned Mr. Walker to Palm Island. He said he called and said, where the F are you? You can't have a life. One time I asked the chef if there was turkey bacon. She said, no fucking turkey bacon. I said, I hate it here. The chef told Mr. Combs and he pushed me again and again. What did he say? He said, if you hate it here, get the F out of here. Did you leave your employment? I did, but you returned as global brand director. Why? He was impressed by what I did in the job I left for a couple of albums. He said you wouldn't have to work directly for me. What were you doing for Miss Ventura? Managing her image, maximizing the optics for her, for Sean Combs. He had the final approval on everything. In LA, where did you live? A gated community. He had followed Kim Porter there. Honey, I remember this when she said she moved to LA and he came home in New Jersey and everything was gone. And then he chased after her to LA. Where was Miss Ventura? In New York City on West End. He would come to LA and stay with, she would come to LA and stay with him or with me or in a hotel. Who else was Miss Ventura seeing? Miss Cudi. Cudi. How did you learn that? She brought him to my apartment. What did she say? She texted me they were going to this public place in LA. I told her it was a bad idea and to delete the text. Why? If Mr. Combs learned about Mr. Cudi, I mean, Mr. Combs paid for my phone and hers. I told Cassie to go to Best Buy to buy a burner phone. When did Mr. Combs return to town? Not long after, he took Cassie to a hotel, the Cipriani, and then December 22nd, 2011, between 5:30 and 6 a.m., there was banging at my door. What did you see through the peephole? A furious puff. Objection. Ask another question, Miss Steiner. What was his movement? Pacing with something in his hand. Did you open the door? I did. Why would she open the door if you see your boss pacing, banging on your door, looking crazy? I'm not opening the door. I'm calling the cops. What was he wearing? Button down sweater, tore pants, and he was holding a gun. He came into my apartment and said, "Why didn't you tell me? Who is Scott?" I said, "I don't know any Scott." What did he say? "We're going to go kill this in." Right. No police report. Um, where was the gun? In his hand. I said I didn't want to go. He said, "I don't give a F what you want. Get dressed." What concerns did you have? He never come to my house. Did you try to escape? No, I got dressed. Who joined in? Ruben in the black Escalade executive class. Where was Ruben? Driver's seat. I got in the back seat, right hand side. Mr. Combs was in the left next to me. Usually he would have sat in the front. Gun was in his lap. How long does it take to drive from your home at the time to Cudi's house in Hollywood Hills? If you push it 15 to 20 minutes. What did Mr. Combs and Ruben do at Cudi's house? They went in. Could you see in? Yes. What did you do? I called Cassie on her burner. I said, "Cassie, where the F? Where the F?" I told her Puff was at Cuddy's house. Then I changed her number in my phone to my best friend Stormy. What did you hear on the phone? That Scott was at Cassie's. When Mr. Combs came back, he took my phone and called the last number. Then I saw Cuddy driving up. Mr. Combs saw my face and said, "There's that inn right there." We drove off and saw the police driving the other way towards Cuddy. Puff was pulling himself together. We stopped at the Key Club and he told me to call Cassie. What did he tell you to tell Cassie? That he had me and wouldn't let me go. Okay, so this is the kidnapping. Peter.
It was crazy. I mean, it was nutty.
Yes, baby Yoda, this is gossip. All right. So, how did he said he told me that? So, I can't believe that this was actual kidnapping. He just told Capricorn a lot of Cassie. But anyway, how did Miss Ventura respond? She said, "Okay, come get me." She was calm. Who drove you home? Ruben. What did Mr. Combs then tell you to convince Cuddy not to say that it had been him at his house? I picked up Cassie. Where did you go? We went to Cuddy's and tried to convince him not to file a police report. What did you tell them? That Puff came to my house with a gun. What did you tell them he said? If you tell on him, he'll hurt us all. What was Mr. Mescudi reaction? Mind blown. Objection. Sustained. Jury will disregard. What happened at the house? He was kicking Cassie again and again. How was Cassie? In the fetal position, Mr. Combs kicked her all the way to the street. She was crying silently. Where was he kicking her? Her back, her backside, voice cracks. Where were you? 5 feet away. So was Rube. What did Mr. Combs say to you? He said, "If you jump in, I'm going to F you up too." What did Rube do? Nothing. Who did you call? D Rock. I told him, "Tell your brother to stop Puff. He is kicking the shit out of her." I called Paulie too. I said he I said he'd take care of it, but Rube did nothing. What's next? What next? Mr. Combs told me to get the F out too. I left on foot. Could you still see her getting kicked until I went around the bend? Then who did you call? Regina Ventura. I told her he's kicking the shit out of your daughter. I can't call the police, but you can. Why didn't you call the police? The mission of the day was to get Cudi, so no calling police. This email, who was it from? Cassie. She wrote that he would be releasing sex tapes about me and he would have someone else hurt me and Scott Mescuddy. Do you recall if you responded to this? I don't. The law enforcement call you? The arson investigators, Cuddy had given them my name. I hung up on him. I just wanted this over. What did Mr. Combs say to you? He said, I should kill you bitches and I should cut her face. How many times did Mr. Combs threaten you? I'll say 50 times. D Rock was there, just doubling down on whatever Puff was saying in the moment. Who is Harv Pierre, the president of Bad Boy Records? I told him Puff had kidnapped me. What did Harv Pierre tell you? He said, that's crazy, but it's going to be okay. I got a termination notice. I was accused on not properly putting in for a vacation I was on. Had you put it in? Yes, to Harv Pierre. Did you lose benefits? All of them: health, 401k, my house and car. What did Mr. Combs say? That I would never work again, that he would make me kill myself. Did you get a job offer? I did, but it fell through. I couldn't get a job. Did you settle with Mr. Combs? In October 2012 for Combs' lawyer objection. Can I approach? It was a sidebar. This is a picture of Capricorn Clark crying. Whoever is this sketch person do not do a good job.
She's a woman. She comes in. She looks like she's out of like a acid trip. Like she looks like like a shaman or
Yep.
something, and she sits in the front by herself. I agree. She did not do justice to any of these people. Do not hire her.
So they came back from sidebar. Aside from the settlement agreement, do you have any other pending litigation with Mr. Combs? No. Did you go back to work for him? In 2016, no one else would hire me. Cassie had a new record deal with Epic. Who did you have to get approvals from? Sean Combs. Cassie was taking more drugs. Was she still dating Combs? Yes. In December of 2023, why did you retain an attorney? I was traumatized by Cassie's civil complaint. Her complaint did not reference me. I reached out to Mr. Combs and said, I want my life back. You kidnapped me. Objection overruled. Was there a discussion of you working for Mr. Combs again? Yes, as chief of staff. When did you last speak with Miss Ventura? 2018. And Mr. Mescuddy, 2012. No further questions. They go on break. Can I start? Judge says, well, we're taking a break. Went to break, came back from break. Miss Clark, you are still under oath. Now, he is cross examined by Sean Combs' attorney, Agnifilio. We met in April 2024. You had a lawyer, Brian Friedman. Yes. You wanted to come back and work with Mr. Combs, right? We discussed it. Yes. You saw Miss Garagos taking notes. Yes. You said you didn't think Cassie was good for Mr. Combs. Why? I thought they were toxic. Tell me about when you were in New York. I was in the Bronx. I hated it. It was 2002. I met Jeanette, then Mr. Combs. In 2001, the World Trade Center thing. Then I met Mr. Combs. He wasn't doing drugs, right? He did ecstasy in daddy's house, but it got worse. Yes. You authorized Mr. Freeman to seek a job for you. It was all very procedural, lawyer to lawyer, but you were told you couldn't be given a job in the middle of the investigation. I don't remember that. Read this and let me know when you're done. Do you remember saying you had the biggest crush on him? Objection 403. Mr. Agnifoli. State of mind is being offered for the truth. We had a stip on this. Sidebar. They come back. Sean Combs' attorney, you called him Chalk for chocolate. I did. You started with Def Jams, Run DMC. I don't go back that far. I'm on Foxy Brown, Redline, Jay Z. I guess they meant to say Redman. So, how did you come to work for Mr. Combs? I put my resume on Monster. Oh my God, you guys remember monster.com? I put my resume on Monster after World Trade Center thing. He said, "Your work for me?" I was like, maybe. He was acting on Broadway and Raising in the Sun. I was impressed. He had a major part. He was a star. Then I shadowed him on the Vote or Die campaign. My job was to get t-shirts on the celebrities and into the photo shoots. I called them and say Puff wanted them to come. And they came. They did. How long before the jewelry missing thing? It was about 4 months. On the 4th of July, he threw a white party at his house on the Hamptons that year with Vote or Die Agnifilio. When did the jewels missing happen? After July 4th. The jewels were still on loan from Jacob the jeweler. Who else got lie detector? Mike B, his stylist. He too had gone to the street level of 1440 for manicures. The lie detector test was the next day. You never told HR. No. I got fired for 3 weeks. How did you get unfired? I went to work on his 35th birthday at Cipriani's to do the celebrity list. I came back 2004, 2006, not all, as personal assistant, then liaison. I was making $65,000 for Combs, then 90 at Jive. Why you come back to Combs? I had gotten top records for R. Kelly. Mr. Combs said he was impressed, asked me to come back for Sean John for women. I think I was really good. I think I was a really good employee for him. He told you were awesome. He did not use that word. You worked hard for him. I did. Others worked hard too, right? Not as hard as me. I did learn a lot from Mr. Combs, almost crying. He broke the glass ceiling for us Black people in the business world. Do you need a minute? No, it's just complicated. The judge says we'll take a break. With the jury out, witness out, the judge says on DNA questions to Inspector how you pronounce this?
Jimenez, yeah.
Jimenez, the government's
Yeah, he was
Jimenez.
Spanish.
Okay, Jimenez, the government's objection is overruled. AUSA, we asked for a bit longer. We're not being able to eat lunch. We are running ahead of schedule. Our case may be closer to 5 weeks than 6 weeks, so a longer break. All right, so now they're back from break. AUSA, they propose to use communications between Ms. Clark and Ms. Ventura. We don't see any non hearsay purpose. There are logistics and photo shoots being discussed. She testified to this on direct. The direct went on more negative than we expected. Their theory is that Ms. Ventura was not permitted to be creative, judge in the future, and what you submit overnight. So I guess it's about whatever their paperwork. I don't feel like going through it. Let's have Ms. Clark come back. All right, now let's bring the jury in. Here we go. When you went into the park, it was to Tavern on the Green. We parked there. Early in the day in the park, we ran into Nas. Why is that relevant? I'm just
They're
wondering.
just talking about like where they were, what was going on, because this
Who cares if Nas was there?
like this is so she's adding details to make it seem more credible. Do you understand this is all circumstantial? There is no direct evidence, there's no photographs, there's nothing putting Diddy at any of these spots. It's literally her word. And all this is just her. She could be concocting just an amazing story.
Yeah, and it is juicy. When you say he had Miss Ventura spin, who was there? Let me show you what you said. You said Lorianne Gibson was there. They misheard me. When did you first meet Cassie Ventura? I met her with Ryan Leslie. Why did you not get along with Cassie sometimes? In 2008, she got more bravado being his girlfriend the longer it lasted. She thought I was being paid to help her. Objection by AUSA. Judge sustained reacts. What did you see? She went from being a sweet model to being a feisty girlfriend. Do you think she was talented? She had talent and was very beautiful, but not talented. She was not. I have good taste. Talented to me is Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey. Cassie, she was more of a studio musician. She needed things equalized. Did she perform live? A couple of times, not the greatest. Was she a hard worker? At times. When wasn't she a hard worker? She preferred to be with her boyfriend. When we moved to LA after Kim had the twins, 2009 ish, I saw her developing more of a relationship with Puff, with Mr. Combs. He supported her, yes, with stylists, other musicians, all the components to make a star. Did she get more help with others? Yes. Young, no, did she get more help than others? Yes. Young Jock and a group from Atlanta. I developed French Montana. I ran into Cassie. She said she had a new deal with Epic. I dressed her like David Bowie. We did a photo shoot at my house. We wrote a mini movie and shot it for the project. What about official girl? Super cute video. King of Hearts, it was fresh. Puff liked it. Cassie had a green wig. Yes. We moved to admit this witness. To admit this witness, there is a ceiling issue. You don't remember this email? I don't. Here in 2012, you are setting up a recording session for Cassie. Mario Winans was for the chairman.
That's incorrect for the
For Mr.
hitman.
Cohn,
See, this is not, see he's typing it and he's missing things. That's why it's important to get the transcript, which you can get. There's I can't access my X right now because I'm in the stream, but I could pull it. The woman is able to actually get the transcripts every day and she posts them, so you could read the actual. Yeah, you
oh,
could
really?
read the actual transcript because there's a lot of errors here. Not substance wise, but more like exactly what's being said. Because that part where she said talented, she said very, not very talented. Like, and we were laughing in the courtroom because it's like very talented was like Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey. Cassie was no Whitney
Right.
Houston or Mariah Carey, and she didn't even perform well live because she was so nervous. And she was never of that high caliber type of singer who didn't need to have the studio equalize her voice or add things to it like auto tune or whatever they would use to make it sound better.
Mm. But she wasn't that
Correct.
talented. Cassie never. Yeah.
So yeah,
Um.
where you left off when he said the
mhm.
chairman, it was the Hitmen. The Hitmen was the group that Diddy started, and these guys worked for the Hitman group.
Okay, so he says marijuana was, and then it was a period. It's like he's doing a lot of shorthand for
Right.
the chairman. Okay, so here goes Combs' attorney. For Mr. Combs, yes. When did you learn Cassie was dating Kid Cudi? I'm so tired of this Kid Cudi story. She says, fall of 2011, I picked her up there. You believe that after Thanksgiving, Miss Ventura and Kid Cudi were what? Getting to know each other. Why'd you get her a burner phone at Best Buy? Excuse me. I told her you cannot do this on your bad boy phone. How did you know about burner phones? I grew up in Los Angeles. In December 2011, Mr. Combs was at an orphanage in Almada, something. Um,
In Kazakhstan.
Kazakh,
Remember Borat? Borat was from Kazakhstan. Very nice. That's where the country is.
Kazakh, Kazakhstan. I heard it was Russia. How did Mr. Combs get into your building? I was told the security guard got fired. What was his name? Some random security guard. What did he look like? Black guy, younger than 35. What was Mr. Combs doing with the gun? He had it in his hand. He wasn't pointing it at you. No, but you told the government he pointed it at you. It says, or waved it around. That's more correct. Where did you change into street clothes?
So
In my
hold on,
closet.
I want to highlight that
Isn't
point. She was extremely argumentative to the point of almost being hostile. Arguing little points. I didn't say that. Arguing that she never said something when literally it's in the notes from the government agents or the AUSAs. The AUSA or the agent is taking the notes while she's saying these things, and she's literally on the stand saying, "No, I didn't say that," even though it's in the notes from the meeting. She had a dozen meetings. That was funny as well. Earlier, she said, "I've met with them a couple of times," and so then Agnifalo's like, "A couple meaning like a dozen?" And she's like, "Yeah, a dozen is right." How do you go from a couple, which is two, to 12? So, like, you could tell she was hostile, like, pretty much the whole time through Cross.
okay? So it says, "Isn't it true you went so that Mr. Combs wouldn't do something stupid?" No, I went because he said he didn't care. I didn't want to go. He's a jealous guy. He has a bad temper. To the Escalade, did you pass a security guard? I saw him in his little hut. Mr. Combs was behind the driver with a gun on his lap. You made a call, not then. Did you look at Kid Cudi's door to see if they could get through it? I was not really paying attention. I was in my head trying to plan my next step. I was praying that Cudi was not in there, that Cassie have two rooms. Cudi took her to one room, she had another. You are 100% that you called and told them Puff had a gun. Yes, I said it very quickly. I didn't want Puff to see me on the phone. Did you say that Lauren London was on the phone with you and Cassie and Cuddy? No, only part of the time, voice cracking. I wanted someone to know where I was. What did you tell her? I'm scared of mountain lions. Oh my God.
It was
Mountain lions?
so here's
I
what
don't know.
happened. So Agnifilo is basically poking holes in her story. He's like, "Wait a second, like you're going from your house to Cuddy's house, and Puff is saying things to you like he's gonna kill Cuddy, and like you're gonna be next." And as soon as you get the chance, once Puff and Rube are out of the car, you don't. The first person you call is Lauren London. Like this is someone who just kidnapped you. You don't try to call the police or anybody else to try to, or even run out of the car, right? Like somebody's holding a gun to you and saying you're going to stay here. Your first chance to escape, you're not going to escape, and you're going to call Lauren London instead of calling Cuddy um and Cassie to warn them. So like he was eliciting this with the testimony and like drawing it out. And then she said, "Well, I wanted to call as well because it was early in the morning and where they lived, there was a lot of mountain lions. And so I didn't want to get attacked by a mountain lion." That was what that was about.
Yo, that shit is
It was
crazy.
crazy.
So you're scared of a possible, right? What's the probability of you running to a mountain lion as opposed to thinking that someone with a gun you claim was going to
Right.
hurt you? So it says, I don't know if you know the Hollywood Hills Coyotes. Maybe Lauren was on the phone. Maybe it's such a long time ago. Are you aware that Lauren and Mr. Combs were friends for years after this? Yes. Then you see the Porsche coming up the hill. Yes, Cuddy is in the black Porsche. He stops next to us, then speeds off. We chase him. Then he loses us. We turn away. Then we see police pass us. You go to pick up Cassie and go where? Cuddy's house. There was ADT there. Then you go to Mr. Combs' house and you say you
I can't hear you. I don't know if everybody else can.
okay, you can hear me now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I could. Now you're back. Yep.
Okay, sorry about that. Where did you hear? What was the last thing you heard?
You got up to the. But you're before this. You were like You were where they were in the car going to the house, and they get to Diddy's
Okay.
house, and then you cut out after that.
Oh, then you see the Porsche coming up the hill. You heard me say that?
Yeah, yeah, after ADT.
Oh, okay, after ADT. Where the hell was AD? Oh, here we go. Okay. Then you go to Mr. Combs. You see Mr. Combs. Cassie was there, even in the street. Yes. You hung up on the fire inspector. I did. When you were on when were you on vacation? It was with who? Rihanna. After you were fired, what job did you get? I was hired. This okay, so this is the part here, right?
So wait, hold on, and hold on. That she see you have to get the transcript because there's so much more to this. So like, fire inspectors wanted to talk to her and follow up arson investigators, and she just literally hung up on them and didn't want to talk to anybody. Didn't file police reports. Didn't make a record or memorialize this in any type way, shape, or form. So like, it's if you're a juror and you're sitting there and you're trying to believe that this woman was really kidnapped, you're not going to like
Mhm.
report this at all because you were making 55,000 a year. You could make more working at McDonald's, like for the amount of hours that she was working. So it just doesn't doesn't pass muster in my estimation.
Right, because my life is more precious than me worrying about, "Well, I'm not gonna get another job." Yeah, you could get another job.
Right.
So, the thing here, she said, "Okay, when you were on vacation, it was with who? Rihanna." Like, okay, now you hanging out with Rihanna. After you were fired, what job did you get? I was hired by Chris Lightly to work for 50 Cent. Chris Lightly, Lighty, to work
Yeah,
for
it's
50
Chris Lighty. Hmm.
Here you wrote to Mr. Combs, one day you'll forgive me. Anyway, be well, XX. Yes, you wrote on February 28, 2015, your grace period to be mad at me has surpassed the agreed time. LOL. You wrote that. Yes, sir. Please read that out loud. I wrote, she was never my friend. She wanted me gone. I realized. Did you think Cassie wanted you gone? Sorry, she's crying. This is complicated for me. I felt that I was Puff's protector. I felt I was the only one gone. She was still there and things were getting worse. I try to keep professionalism as the goal. You thought you had to be his protector? It was to move the ball towards the goal, to inspire. Did it hurt that he will only take you back because Cassie wanted? Yes, I have no parents. My son is autistic. My stakes are higher, sir. How much more, Mr. Gagnafilio? Can I talk to the government? Now it's a sidebar. They come back from the sidebar. Just a few more minutes and we'll get you out today. Thank you, sir. You did a lot of great work with Cassie in 2016, 2017, right? I believe so. Cassie had addiction problems. Yes. You made a short movie with her. It was called Love a Loser. You wrote to him asking for forgiveness. I wanted my life back, my dream, my competency. When you met with me, you wanted to work for him, right? We discussed it. Nothing further. So now it's back to cross examine.
Yeah, wait. So listen to this. So they met in April of 2024, and she wanted to be Diddy's chief of staff, literally a year ago. So would if someone kidnapped you, locked you in a room for 5 days and doing lie detector tests, told you they're going to throw you in the East River, pointed a gun at you, told you to get in the car, that they were going to potentially kill you as well. This is somebody you want to go back to work for?
Right. Yeah, which is, and that's what I'm saying. Like this, because they're the prosecutor's trying to build a RICO case against him with the things, kidnapping and all this stuff. But I don't think these witnesses are credible because you cannot sit up here and say this man did something, but you had ample of time to literally leave from being around him and seek protection, but you chose to constantly keep coming back. Why I don't know. It's like everyone. It's like these witnesses have Stockholm syndrome. Um, Okay, so here's the prosecutor.
Or
How
they're just looking to get paid off. This is just you understand that they have to say these things. If they don't say the things that are in their civil lawsuits, they could actually lose the civil lawsuit because they say you directly testified to something that you're saying in the lawsuit was one way and you're saying it over here is another way. You lose the money.
that's yeah, I didn't think of that. So true. So it says, what happened with the job with Chris Lightly? He died the day before I was supposed to start. Then at Interscope, it wasn't about a job. They told me to leave Puff alone. I object from Combs' lawyer. Judge says sustain.
Now,
My
also through this to set the scene, right? She's literally like trying to it's wild because she's like forcing the tears and forcing herself to look upset. She's like, oh my god, it was he died. He died. Like it was
oh,
like
that's
one of those.
oh
Yes, it was such nonsense. And I'm sitting there watching it, I'm laughing and like I'm asking the people that are sitting around me, like, what do you think? And one woman's like, oh, she's so emotional. She was upset. She's been through so much. And I'm looking at this woman like she's a retard who said that, like the person sitting next to me. And they're lucky that I'm not on the jury because I would be influencing all the jurors. I'd be saying all this shit and like sending them home with these thoughts, but I would never be on the jury because they wouldn't like what I have to say.
but here's the thing though. She's saying that I was supposed to work for Chris Lightly. Like how you pronounce his name?
Lighty, Chris Lighty was a producer. Chris Lighty.
Chris Lighty. And listen, you're talking about because he really helped put 50 Cent on the map to be a mega star, right? And I remember that he was murdered in broad daylight. She was supposed to
Yeah,
work
I forget who was he beefing with. Wasn't he beefing with like Cameron? eh, Right?
I
There
don't
was a song about him or something like that.
know. Okay, so that was all business, but this is the thing though. 50 Cent and Puffy didn't like each other before then.
Right.
Who and Chris Lighty, listen, to me, he was about that business. He was about the business. So that was just so strange that the way he was murdered in broad daylight. And the day before she was supposed to start working, he gets murdered. And she's like,
Was that
it,
case ever solved?
no. Then at
Okay.
in the scope, they're saying it wasn't about a job. They told me to leave Puff alone. Is she trying to subliminally put Puffy behind the murder of Chris Lighty? And maybe that's why 50 Cent can't stand Diddy. Now, 50 Cent always say, oh, he can't stand Diddy because he told me something he wanted to take me shopping. But maybe 50 Cent think that Diddy has something to do with Chris Lighty being deleted.
Yeah. So also with this part, um, she was talking about that she had a
Oh, yeah.
meeting with Jimmy Iovine, and that when she went to meet Jimmy Iovine, it wasn't about a job at all or a position. It was them telling her leave Diddy alone, and she she was blackballed that she wasn't going to ever be able to work again because Diddy was basically saying don't give her a job for everywhere that she went.
So I forgot. It came out that he clipped himself. That's right. But now it was reports saying that may not be the case because it just sound too crazy. And then yeah, Chris Lighty and then the wife, they were saying the wife was there. It was a big thing with Chris Lighty. I don't think he offed himself. Why would he? Like, why would he unalive himself? And that's to me, that's like a mystery thing. And then for her to get up here and say, "Oh, I was supposed to work for him," then he gets murdered. Like, bitch, you have bad luck. She's toxic. It seemed like everybody that was Diddy was toxic. And that makes sense because Diddy is very toxic. As he's a toxic employer.
Right. And what's crazy is he was getting all these people to work for him for like peanuts. And I guess they were doing it with the hope of you see this a lot with people who like do fraud or scams. Like with the oh, like if you do this, I promise you you're gonna make it big and I'm gonna put you on. You just gotta keep going a little bit more. I need to get a little bit more out of you, like dig deep. And in reality, they just string you along for like over a decade, if not more, and you get nothing at the end of the day except for getting fired or getting or losing more money. So it seems like he had this effect, right? He was using the guys that he's this huge player and power broker in the industry, and that if you're next to him and do what he says, he'll put you on. But at the end of the day, these people were making nothing. Like I said, you literally could go work at a fast food joint for the amount of hours they would work, and you would have made more money doing that.
Right. But see, he was paying for everything. No, if you flying first class, you're flying private jets, you're going all over the world. He's
Who
paying for
gives a fuck? I need that bread. I
he
send
he's
wire that
paying for
money
their
over.
cars and everything. So it's like, okay, you're making 55 and then HR is saying, well, your overtime, he owes you 80, but he's paying for other expenses. So I kind of get it to where, he feels as though, listen, I'm paying these people all this money. He knows you want to be in this industry because it's sex, drugs, rock and roll, but the excitement, the validation, the fame, the fortune, like what do you call it? Like he was the popular guy and you're part of that popular.
Right, like a glamorous lifestyle, like all the
Yeah,
nonsense.
people get
Yeah,
addicted to that.
this shit
So
is dumb, stupid.
because with her qualifications, she could have went to corporate and been part of C-suites with her
Right,
qualifications.
right,
Cause
and actually got paid at like 200K a year, 250 a year with a full package, 401K, matching IRA, like all that shit.
exactly. And if she would have went to the police and filed a report about all the abuse that she took working for him, if he tried to blackball her, especially dealing with corporate, she could say, I have filed a police report on this man. So, and then you could have actually sued.
That's a tort in itself. That's a tort in and of itself. That's another lawsuit. You're not allowed to conspire to blackball somebody from an industry. That's even that in of itself she could have been paid for.
Exactly. Exactly. Um, okay, so what happened with the job with Chris Lighty? He died the day before I was supposed to start. Then at Interscope, it was about a job. They told me to leave Puff alone. I object, sustained. I was blacklisted. Objection, sustained. Why do you return to work for Mr. Combs? So people could see I wasn't disposable. At this level of business, he held all the power. Why did you meet? Why did you meet them? Get my life back. In the kidnapping, did Mr. Combs carry a gun? Yes. I know we kept you longer than I said. Thank you. See you tomorrow. All right. So she's coming back tomorrow.
No, they pretty much wrapped.
Oh no, that was for the juror. Okay, so that was okay. So the thing is, AUSA said in the kidnapping, did Mr. Combs carry a gun? Yes. The judge to the juror said, I know we kept you longer than I said. Thank you. See you tomorrow. And then tomorrow they're supposed to have me.
Yeah, they had crossed and they had redirect the cross, and then she was off the stand. So she's done. She's not four witnesses there going towards our LAPD, LAFD, which is the arson investigator, Diddy's other assistant, Nash, and now this who could be victim number 3 in this case. So
Um, hold on for a second. Yeah, honey, I need new equipment, and I am going to get it within a week while I'm on vacation. Listen, this is a hot mess. This is very much a hot mess. And I want to say a lovely thank you to Mr. Raymond for the lovely super chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Um, so yeah, so what are your thoughts? Like, 50 Cent name being thrown out, he's trolling, saying free Diddy, and oh, I'm so shook. She's bringing up Chris Lighty, Interscope, Suge Knight. I don't believe that Diddy did not know this woman used to work for Suge Knight because I believe especially the type of business he in, whoever he hires, he's going to already have a background check. So
I agree. I agree. I mean, it all, for me again. Like I thought this testimony would be more damning than it was, and how I'm viewing it is that she was really self-serving. She was not credible. She looked like she was trying to make herself cry at different times to make it seem like, more plausible or sympathetic for the jury. And she looked like she was just out for herself. She kept saying again and again she has an autistic son and he's nonverbal and she has to take care of him. Basically, like if you read between the lines, the inference is that she needs money, right? And so, people who need money do things that they're thinking are in their best interest, which is to say whatever, it is that she's going to say to support any type of lawsuit or any further pending lawsuit she might have. So, yeah,
but
again, I don't see racketeering and I don't see sex trafficking. They're trying to draw the racketeering in with the arson, right? Because that would be one predicate act that he's using the enterprise and the individuals to help commit. But there's no direct evidence. It's all circumstantial.
it is. And it's like he said, she say, well, your word against his. But I look at it, listen, she's the problem. Everybody is toxic. Cassie, the drug addict, Diddy is a drug addict, and he's, likes to hit on women. And this Capricorn Clark, I think she's a liar because, and she's a snake. And I think Diddy knew that, right? You worked for Suge Knight, and then you went to work for Diddy, and then you went to work for Chris Lighty, who is connected solely with 50 Cent. You work with people who are enemies of each other. That's a pattern.
Right. Right.
All those three people can't stand each other. They can't. So, don't like each other, never did. So again, you are the common denominator.
Yeah, I mean, that's retarded for Diddy though, as well. Like, I'm not having. First of all, if he really had beef with Suge like that, and they're, he allegedly had Biggie killed and is involved in these different murders, I'm not having anybody who had connectivity to him around me. That's a security risk in and of itself. How do you know they're not a plant or like a double agent looking to set you up? That's like, I don't understand that at all. It's crazy to me.
It is. It's very much crazy. Um, Thank you to Fernandez. He says, salutations, Dana. Sorry if this has been answered, but so far all we've heard are freaky sexapades, nothing illegal. Has this changed? Thank you, sister. P.S. Say hi to the judge for us. I sure will. He was feeling under the weather today. So, yeah. I mean, okay, so Peter, you have been in the courtroom since day one, right? Um, do you, outside of the sex, and the drugs and paying for prostitution, what outside of that, do you see really a case here?
No, I see a domestic violence case. I see, lots of illegal drug use. But as far as RICO and sex trafficking, I really don't see it. And I think that there's enough reasonable doubt for the jury to acquit him on the most serious charges. I think they have him all day on Mann Act, right? Which is transporting somebody across state lines for an illicit purpose.
Well, who was
Um,
this person that's he's supposed to have been transporting? Cassie, right?
no, the escorts.
But I thought they
He's
were doing escorts from whatever states they were in, Miami, LA, New York. They had specific escorts in those states.
No, so certain times they would fly in escorts. Like she was saying that they had Jules, which is like their favorite, the one that she was the most comfortable with, would come in depending on where they were, and that she would arrange for the travel for these individuals. She would call the website Cowboys for Angels, and then that would be arranged through that. So anytime, yeah, I know you like the Cowboys for Angels, and so anytime anybody is doing that, like Judge said a couple of times, this violates the Mann Act, which is so arbitrary and capricious and needs to be thrown out. But they do have him based upon the escorts coming in and him being involved in the freak offs. And they have direct evidence of that with the text messages between him and Cassie saying, I want to freak off, and why don't you contact the owner of Cowboys and Angels so that we could see who's available. So they
Mhm.
do have those two charges, but I mean, that would be a home run if he just gets convicted on those two charges because they carry no mandatory minimum, and he could potentially get probation or a year or two in like a camp for those charges.
Mm.
What
Well,
I saw, which is very interesting, and you could see it on Inner City Press. If you look back in the last day or so, Diddy has hired a former DOJ forfeiture unit expert to help protect his assets from forfeiture. Because if he does get convicted, on the RICO on this, they could literally seize all of his assets as part of a racketeering influence corrupt organization. So, I would imagine all his assets have to total up to potentially $1 billion. So this is why, like we spoke about in the past with the judge, the government could literally choose who they want to go after based upon how much money they make and then just literally take money from them. It's very dangerous where this is going.
it's dangerous, and it's all. And at the end of the day, it's about money because there are a lot of women who have, who are real victims. I'm sorry, Cassie is a victim of being in an abusive relationship. That's for sure. But again, there. I look at it like this: if this was a regular man making 80K a year, prosecutors wouldn't care. Making half a
Right.
million, they wouldn't care. He's worth $1 billion. Now I'm pretty sure his kids, the trust, their trust is already set. So the government can't come in and touch the trust. The kids are set, but I get it to where he still wants to protect his assets, and rightfully so. So listen,
Well, they can pierce the trust if the assets came in from the enterprise and they could trace it back to this pattern. They could actually see substitute assets, um, and even if he has nothing in his name, I'm telling you, it's very serious. And this is stuff that Trump is talking about correcting the ability for the government to be able to do this because this is a slippery slope to doing it for whatever they want, whenever they want. And if you allow this, it's going to be big problems for a lot of people.
yeah, it is. It really is. Well, thank you, Peter. I appreciate you coming
Yeah,
on. Are you gonna?
yeah,
So I'm gonna be in New York Friday. Are you gonna be there at the courthouse Friday?
yeah. I'm going to be there. I'll probably be there the rest of the week. I do want to see this witness Mia because I think she's going to be a big witness,
Mhm.
and
She's
is going
supposed
to
to
be more test.
go, but we don't know what day.
Correct. So they said they're going to do four tomorrow. Four
Oh,
witnesses. So we'll see how quickly they'll get through the arson investigator, the LAPD officer who responded to the Cudi
well, here's
crime
what
scene.
I ask you. All of these witnesses are the prosecutors. Does the defense then bring in their witnesses eventually?
Correct. So the prosecution actually today said that they are ahead of schedule and they might be whittling their case down to 5 weeks instead of six, which this is week 3. So they would have another 2 weeks of their case in chief. And then after they rest their case, the defense gets their turn to go and they put their own case on. And so then they would have the opportunity to produce their own witnesses, and you would see just the same thing except the other side. So the direct would be done by the defense, and then the cross examination would be done by the prosecutors. And
Okay.
then they're saying the defense case would be like about a week because I don't think the defense would really have that many witnesses they'd need to put on. And then it would go to summations and closing arguments. And the judge has said that they're going to wrap this case before 4th of July.
Right.
So we could see that even sooner now because the prosecution has shaved a week off of their case in chief.
Right. So yes, I am going to go down to the courthouse now. If I get there early enough, I guess I could be in the overflow room, but I
Yeah,
don't.
everybody I spoke to who has gotten into the main room, and I haven't been in the main room once because I'm not getting up and getting to the court for 6 a.m. I
I'm not.
don't feel like it's that necessary.
I already told
So
what time you got to be there to get in the overflow room?
You could get there whenever you want. The overflow room is just that. Like it has enough capacity where they'll actually produce additional seats. Like in the main room, they're keeping it. It's very, very strict and tightly controlled. So there's only 7 people per row. There's 21 seats available for the press, 14 for the general public. After that, they cut it off, and they do it from the beginning of the day. So
Okay.
if you weren't there in the first part of the day, they're not letting you in later in the day, even if people leave the court and there's open seats. So it's super controlled. The overflow room is much more laid back. People are laughing, talking in between at sidebar and when there's breaks. So you could pretty much get in whenever. I usually get there like 9:30,
Okay.
um, and then the judge usually has a break every 90 minutes or so, like maybe 5-10 minute break. Uh, Lunch breaks 12:30 to 1:15, and then they go till 3:30 in the afternoon.
Lunch break, you could go out the building and come back.
Yeah, so I don't leave because the lunch break is so short, and every time you leave the building, you have to go back through security.
Oh,
So think about like a long line queued up,
so
and there's like,
cafeteria in the courtroom if you want your son to eat.
yeah, the court, the court. So the court is 26 floors. So the cafeteria is on the 8th floor,
Hmm.
and yeah, you'll have lunch break, go to the cafeteria, and then there's also like vending machines if the cafeteria closes. But it's funny because like you'll have witnesses, and like I saw Cassie's husband in the cafeteria, like eating with everybody while he just witnessed the testimony when she was testifying about all the crazy shit that she did.
He was eating with
Um,
who? I guess his people or a lawyer.
he was so he no he was there like watching. Obviously, he was in the main courtroom during Cassie's testimony, but he was with 2 bodyguards the whole time.
Okay.
Looked like 2 MMA guys. And then Cassie was protected by 6 U.S. Marshals. She
Yeah.
was escorted around the building. Yeah,
Don't nobody want that.
right. I mean,
No.
it's very tightly controlled, and you'd have to be a retard to do anything or even look
Because
at someone the wrong way.
about Cassie.
What's that?
The Rico case is not about Cassie.
Correct. But she's a witness, so like she's the star witness, right? So I don't know. There's a lot of nutso people at this as well. Like outside is literally like a circus. There's people screaming, getting into potential fist fights. There's people that are like emotionally disturbed individuals, like you'd see like yelling into the air, talking to no one.
But see, that's because the media is infringing on the homeless people that live there area. So they're upset that listen, we live here out in the street and y'all got your shit set up invading our space.
I guess. I mean, this is a federal courthouse, though. This is not just a federal court. This is the federal courthouse. Like Southern District of New York is a big, well known, district in name. They have their own name, sovereign district, because of them doing things like that are different from every other court.
Yeah, and
So
that's and it's homeless people there. The feds let them stay there because it's like where else they're gonna go. So the media comes there like, listen, you coming here for this trial, it's a whole bunch of trials, but y'all coming here for Diddy, you're infringing on our space. So yes, I'm
right,
upset.
it is a media firestorm. I mean, literally, like across the street, like the whole sidewalk is taken up by CNN, Fox News, Newsmax, Law and Crime Channel, and big names. I was talking to who was it, Laura Coates the other day from CNN, and Sonny Hostin I spoke to a bunch of times. Who else? Danny Savalos from CNN, defense attorney. I was talking to him about how RICO would apply and how this is like, it's a different way to use RICO than we've seen traditionally.
Mhm.
Um, and the first really test case with this was the R. Kelly case. Um, and then there was like another case, I forget what it was called, but it was like a sex cult case that Agnifilo, Diddy's attorney, tried, and he lost that case. And they used RICO to try that case as well. I think it was Nemitz or something like that.
Mm,
Um, but yeah, it is a spectacle, and there's a lot of people there.
mm,
So if you do
well,
go, just be aware that it's very circus-ish.
right. And thank you again, Raymond. Oh my God, lovely, generous donation. Thank you, Raymond. Appreciate you. And thank you, Peter. I will see you Friday.
Absolutely. I'm
Yeah.
excited. It's gonna be fun.
Yes, it is. All right. Thank you so much, Peter. Appreciate you coming on.
Yep. Have a great night.
All right, you too. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Listen, I don't do lives on Tuesdays. I figure, listen, I'm not doing an X space. The judge is a little bit under the weather, so send your prayers out to him to get well soon. And then I'm gonna be traveling this week, but I am gonna be right up there at that Diddy trial on Friday, honey. Yes. But I am coming back tomorrow on Wednesdays to do my normal Wednesday show tomorrow at 9. I may push it to 8:30. I'm not sure yet. So thank you. Thank you so much to the people that sent in donations. Appreciate you guys. Raymond, honey, you're spoiling me tonight. Thank you so much. And Fernandez, thank you. Appreciate you. Everybody listening, Katalia. Everybody watching on X. I love you guys on X. Um, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Make sure you share, like, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And thank you, Natasha. She says, great life. And thank you again to Peter. Me and Peter do X Spaces. We hold it Thursdays and Sunday. And so yeah, so thank you, Peter, for coming on and breaking it down. And I am going to find those transcripts, like he said, where it's like all word from word detail. So yeah, this case is just getting wackier and wackier. But thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.